Welcome to part two. We're just waiting for Kent to join us. Women love him. Men want to be him. Belfast's most eligible bachelor. What a great profile picture of Tony on Kent's.
Do you like that? Do you like that, Russell?
That's fantastic. How are you doing, Kent?
Yeah, dead on, Russell.
Good man. We were saying about AJ. Do you think they're caught in a situation where if he fights like a Trevor Bryant Franklin type guy again, he could get found out and they could get less money? Or do you think if they fight, Wilder or Fury, he'll never fight again? Do you think they're torn between what to do, Matchroom and DAZN?
Yeah, it's they're waiting for this big fight. They're looking to try and get him back on the perch to make money. I can't see how Anthony Joshua now makes the money that he did. Those stadium fights are gone. That ship has gone. It's going to take a massive, massive win against somebody like Wilder to get him back to even 75% of that. He's not in public favour at the minute. He's got those losses on his belt. It was a disaster against Usyk the second time around. I actually think he didn't improve any in that second fight. He's worth a fortune. He's worth an absolute fortune. You can say you want to fight and you want to do this, you want to do that, but he's made an absolute fortune out of boxing. How hungry is he? They actually go through and do what he needs to do to get better. Is it a mental thing? Is it a money thing? I think it's a combination of, as I've said, everything. And I think now it's Matchroom are just trying to kind of cash him out that final fight. He signed that long-term deal to DAZN. Personally, I don't think that was great business from Eddie. They're going to have to recoup some money on him as well. But personally, I think another loss, and that's him. I think the last Franklin fight wasn't good. We know how they struggled to sell it, but against the likes of Franklin coming back, you need to be knocking those guys out. You need to be devastating, and he wasn't.
If he fights White, do you think that sells Wembley out?
Definitely not. No way. No way. Why would you go and see that? Dillian Whyte, he got brutally knocked out against Povetkin, a 40-year-old Povetkin. He didn't say a word in the build-up he huffed and moaned the whole time about his purse. He got a career-high purse in that fight, exorbitant purse, and didn't win a second of any round in that Fury fight and got brutally knocked out. How is that a stadium fight? There's no way that's a stadium fight.
Yeah, Dillian Whyte and Joshua, would you say they're about even now, though? No, it's a pretty even fight, would you?
Popularity ways, boxing ways, I kind of would have AJ as a favorite
promoter wise as well, because he's going to have Eddie on his side, isn't he?
Yeah, well, where would Dillian Whyte where would the promoter lie with Dillian Whyte? Is he not a free agent?
Yeah, I think he is. Dillian Whyte will try and get a deal with anybody, won't he, at this stage of his career? I mean, he's in limbo if he don't fight Joshua next. If he don't fight Joshua next, it's a right snub, in it, for Whyte.
Yeah, well, he's made
from Eddie, innit?
Yeah, it's going to have to be commercially viable for Eddie. He's not going to get, he's not going to get close to 10 million in this fight that he got. What did he get for the last Fury fight? Was it 7 or 8 million or something like that? That was something huge because the purse bid was so big. But I can't see Eddie offering him anything over 4 million for that fight. It all depends. It has to be a stadium fight for him to get a massive purse.
He'd take anything at this stage of his career. Dillian Whyte, the can man. He'd
personally,
anything, mate, at this stage. I mean, so would Chisora. Chisora wants $500,000 to fight the White Rhino.
That's madness. That's crazy. Crazy money. Personally, Russell, I don't think there's the popularity now.
13 losses, no belts, calling shots.
Personally, now, Russell, I don't think there's the popularity for AJ to fill out a football stadium like Wembley or Cardiff. And personally, now, I don't think there's a popularity for Dillian Whyte either of that last performance against Franklin that I thought he lost, and that performance against Tyson Fury where he didn't win a second of any round. You know, when you're paying for a pay-per-view fight, you want, you know, casual fans want blood and guts. They want an exciting fight. They want to get their money's worth. And personally, I don't think that performance against Fury is gonna get fans to tune in for a pay-per-view fight. It doesn't warrant another pay-per-view. You know, what do you gotta do to be a pay-per-view fighter now? Nah, definitely not. Definitely not.
No. Where does this all leave Joe Joyce if he beats Zhang?
I think the smart deal was that Frank Warren had options on Zhang, 3-fight option. Personally, I think the option will be next. That can you imagine a promoter going over to China and selling Zhang as pay-per-view over there? It'd be massive. You know, he had 12 million viewers from China watching that fight.
Yeah.
So if you got even a quarter of that over there as pay-per-view, that's still huge money pay-per-view wise. I think if Frank Warren is smart with this, that they could make massive money with Zhang Zhilei. They could make massive money with them.
Hey,
but it all
listen, knowing Bricktop, if he gets his feet under the table over there, he could end up big in Chow Mein, couldn't he?
yeah, it could be massive. It could be the viewership over there is huge. It's an on-top market in boxing, especially for heavyweight. You know, India was another top market. He tried to do a couple of years ago. He signed a couple of Indian fighters that didn't quite work. But over there in China is just a massive network. It's a massive territory for them if they get it right. But I don't think they will, to be honest with you.
Oh yeah.
Nah. If they did, they would announce something by now. They would have been working extensively to get something over there for them. It would mean huge numbers, and it would mean they would probably recoup some of the money they've lost off Tyson Fury as well.
Yeah. Where do you see Tyson if he doesn't fight? You know, Usyk next or Joshua. Where's he going to head now? Because will fans turn on him? Because it looks like he's already on back foot, doesn't it, for the first time in about 5 years, doesn't it?
People are sick of it. People are sick of his tweets. I'm sick of hearing about, I'll knock John Jones out and I'll knock this UFC fighter out and everybody's this and everybody's that, and just fight. Just get in the ring and fight. It's just attention seeking at the highest order. I think the fans just want to see boxing now. They want to get their money's worth. They want to see the best fighting the best. And I think Steve Bunce said it last week that Steve Bunce posted a picture of a pint of Guinness up and it got more tweets or likes or whatever than Tyson Fury on bashing John Jones, the UFC heavyweight champion. So that says a lot. So it does. He's been very sporadic in social media this last few weeks. I think the fans now just want to see the best fighting the best and are just frustrated. It's time they actually fight.
You think it's now worse than ever?
Yeah, it's all this Saudi talks made it even worse. You know, the whole divisions.
Do you think it's brought all the greed out of them all?
Yeah. You know, Mike Tyson said a few years ago that back in the day, fighters were actually fighters. now fighters are more businessmen than fighters, and yeah, the boxers need to get as much as they can. It's a short career, but now it's just ridiculous.
Yeah. Like I said, if he fights somebody like a Franklin or a Dempsey McKean and all, how can anybody ever buy into Tyson ever again? Because what have we had since Wilder? We've had White and Chisora, and now they're looking at Dempsey McKean. What sort of
Even
run? That's not a GOAT run, is it?
no, they're even looking at Jay Apatai, the cruiserweight champion from Australia. I wouldn't be surprised if they even put Joseph Parker on with him. Honestly, I would not be surprised. Joseph Parker said 2 weeks ago that he would love to fight Tyson Fury. He would love to get back and test himself against his mate. And we're mates and all, but that goes aside. If we ever fight, I wouldn't be surprised if you've seen that down the line. Honestly, the New
Tyson
Zealand,
play with
yeah,
Parker.
I know that. And he was getting bashed up every day, but by Tyson in camp and training camp. You know, he looked terrible against Jack Massey. He fought a terrible opponent last week and had a 1 round win. That
If Jack
proves
Massey had a
nothing.
bit more size on him, he might have done him.
I think Massey in that fight was actually worried about his own fitness and carrying that extra bulk and stepping up to heavyweight. He boxed like somebody that didn't want to get tired in the fight. That's what it seemed like. And I think if he just was more offensive early in that fight, he could have won that fight. He could have. You know, it was a terrible performance from Joseph Parker. And, you know, the very fact he's back fighting in his home territory now says that, you know, why would UK networks want to invest in him any longer? It's a waste of time. But I wouldn't be surprised if you seen that fight down the line. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. What do you think to Chantel Cameron?
It was a great win for her. It was a massive. I had her 5 rounds up. I thought she won the fight comfortably. I thought it was terrible matchmaking from Eddie, you know, or was it? From Eddie and bringing Katie Taylor, who's small, had her own weight, bringing her up a division to fight Cameron, who's massive for her weight. I thought the size difference in the fight was huge, and I thought that Cameron boxed really well. She's really improved. She fights with a really good lead hand hooks, Mexican style. I really like it. Great volume, and it was a really well deserved win for her. I think she wins the rematch convincingly as well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Do you think
absolutely.
that all this talk about it being at 135, the rematch, is a bit out of order?
Well, Cameron's the champion. She should has the say. She will have the say. So, you know, they're not going to get their own way. As I say, she is the champion. So she's the A side now.
Ah, yeah. Where do you see Wilder now, Kent? Where do you see his career going? Do you think he's
No
going to
man's
be
land.
avoided?
No man's land. As I say, they're just all waiting for charity money. They're all greedy and waiting for charity money, and it's parked the whole division up. I think the whole money with pay per view and PBC. He wants he wants guaranteed money right away. You know, with pay per view platforms, it takes a while to correlate that. That's why he's a free agent now. Him and Shirley Finkel. So I think they're just sitting to wait. I think they're sitting waiting to cash out now as well. Just like AJ, just like Fury. They're just waiting to cash out. There's no difference in whether AJ and Fury at the minute.
Yeah, it's what do you make of that situation where Fabio Wardley and David Adelaide, and they're going to have an interim fight before they fight for the belt, and Dave Allen's parked up and he's raring to go now. What do you reckon about
It just depends who's been more active. Dave Allen for me needs to be more active at British level. So he does. Wardley's British champion. David Adelai's been more active. Yeah, he's been fighting really poor opposition. He wasn't really that good against Kamil Sobolowski like a year and a half ago. I think it's just down to who's more active. I think the whole Fraser Clark thing was an embarrassment from Sky. I think that was terrible. I think it was just wasting everyone's time. You go from fighting Fabio Wardley to Marius Vac. There's a difference, a massive, massive difference there. Fraser Clark, what do you want to be, a commentator or a personality or a boxer? I think, he was in the whole AIS setup, so he's more experienced than all them guys put together. What more experience does he need? As a boxer, he's been fighting longer than Wardley and Adelaide. So it's just time to get a move on. It's time to get a move on.
Yeah. Do you think Dave Allen's wasted his talent?
I can't say that. He just needs to be more active. He needs to be more active, and I can't come on here and say, yeah, he's a wasted talent, this and that. How good is he? That's the question. It's just time to get a move on and get on with your career and get fighting. He should be fighting every 3 or 4 months and being active. He's had 2 fights in 3 years. That's not active enough to fight for a British title. Definitely not.
Yeah. What did you make of Billy Joe coming back?
Who's he going to fight?
Well, he's 34 now, isn't he, Billy Joe? So
who's he going to fight and what network's it on?
I don't know. He's 34, 2-year out ring.
Unless I see him at a press conference with a fight date announced, that's when I'll start talking about it. I'm not going to get into it. It depends on where he's going to go. What's he going to fight at? Is he going to fight at middleweight? Is he going to fight at super middleweight? Is he going to come back as a light heavyweight? It remains to be seen.
Eubank, Conor Benn, Beefy. It's a bit of a triangle at the moment, that, isn't it?
It's a mess.
Every day something's changing. They're sending YouTubers and journalists in a spin out, in a tailspin.
Has there been a deal done, between Sky and DAZN? Are they gonna, what's happening with Conor Benn and the drug tests? Eddie Hearn said that if Ben and Eubank fight, it could be another country. It's the only big fight out there. Well, I don't think that fight is big now because Eubank's been beat. He's convincingly beaten. He was actually smashed to pieces against Beefy. So I don't think that fight is. Yes, it's big, but coming off a loss, I don't think it's as big. Definitely not.
No.
And what happens next with UCAD? What is it going to be brushed under the carpet? Is it going to be forgotten about? What's happening with the board? That's going to be a situation that's going to need to be resolved as well.
Yeah. It's yeah. All right then. What about Lawrence Okoli then and Willem Smith?
I think Lawrence Okoli, for me, gets the Isaac Lowe award. He makes Isaac Lowe look like Einstein after the career decisions that he's made this last few months. He's left Eddie.
Gascoigne.
Yeah, he's left Eddie. He had some terrible performances. He did that bad Chamberlain performance. He had a couple other really bad performances at Cruiserweight. Eddie stuck by him. They won British, Commonwealth, European, got him a world title shot, a vacant world title shot that he won. He left Shane. Shane had him boxing a lot better, had him a bit more exciting, won a world title with him. He left him, hasn't fought in a year, living a life in Dubai. He must have made a fortune if he's over there living. He's brought in Sugar Hill, the Kronk style. Kronk style my ass. That's not the Kronk style. I'm sick of hearing all this crap about Kronk style. That's not the Kronk style. I think Chris Billam-Smith's one of the most improved fighters in the UK. You know, this is a guy that was brought in as a sparring partner for George Groves, you know, and for the Bramall Lane fight when he won the world title. Wasn't a particularly great amateur. Had a shoulder injury coming in. You know, started his career with an injury. Was there doing a bit of sparring. No promoter wanted to sign him at all. Nobody wanted him. Nobody was interested. The McGuigan signed him. They've won British, Commonwealth, European. They've done it on the road, pretty much as an undercard B-sided fighter. And now he's selling out football stadiums and he's a world champion. Absolutely amazing. It's a fairy tale story from Chris Billam-Smith. Great story. He's a great guy. He's done everything the traditional way that we talk about. You know, he hasn't avoided anyone. The only loss on his record is Richard Riakporhe, which, looking back, you know, Richard Riakporhe beat everyone domestically, apart from McCauley. It was a brilliant performance. It wasn't a brilliant performance. Wasn't a brilliant win. It was a brilliant game plan. They just caught McCauley coming in every time. I thought McCauley looked terrible last night. Absolutely terrible. I can't see how any network is going to want to show McCauley now. And Eddie's probably sitting back on his back laughing, and I'm sure Shane is as well.
Yeah. Do you think Lawrence Okola is going to now be he's in the who needs him club kind of thing? Because he don't know tickets. He's got an horrible style. He's not engaging, is he? And he's hiring and firing left, right, and centre. He's become a little bit of a like a Gary Neville type, hasn't he? You think?
What network's going to want to show him after that? Who's going to want to watch Lawrence Okola?
Well, we've been saying this for ages that Lawrence Okola is rhubarb, haven't we?
Yeah, we've been saying it, and we kind of got behind him away when he was actually boxing and winning. He was looking exciting. He was knocking people out with Shane. He looked really good with Shane, but he's left Shane. He's left Eddie. He's lost his world title. He looked He looked like a white collar fighter last night. He looked really bad. You know, he lunging in. He looked like all his fundamentals had gone. His balance was atrocious. He didn't look fit, and that's nothing to take away from Chris Billam-Smith. He nullified him really well. Shane knew the game plan, and it's just I'm just so happy for Chris Billam-Smith. He's a really, really good lad, and maybe a fight next against Riakporhe or Bally Jack, who won the WBC title, would be a really, really good fight for Sky.
I remember 5 years ago when he fought Matty Askin. That was the worst fight I'd ever seen since Johnny Nelson, Carlos de Leon. It was
awful.
Bad, honestly. That was a Coley's fault, and he never lost 1 point in that round off Victor Laughlin, referee. Not 1 point. And you know, he should have lost about 3 points. He should have been disqualified against Matty Askin.
He should have been.
He should have been. Mate, a disgrace.
And last night he was last night. I don't know how many final warnings the referee was giving him. You know, he let him off. Yes, he had points deducted, but he should have had a lot more. He should have had a lot more. See if I was his coach and he was boxing like that, I'd just throw a towel in to say, "You're not listening. You're ruining the fight. You look like you don't know what you're doing. Just throw a towel in and get on and give up," because that's how bad a performance it was from Okolie. Now that's not taken away from Chris Billam-Smith's performance, because Shane knew how to nullify him. They knew how to nullify his style.
Yeah. Conor Benn, latest. He's still in limbo, isn't it? Why are they talking pre-fights on Ken?
Why are they talking about fights when he's failed two drug tests?
Oh.
If that was any other fighter, if that was a 55 ranked fighter or 140 ranked fighter, would that actually happen? Would they still be talking about, scheduling fights and penciling in fights and not just fights, blockbuster pay-per-view fight? You bank in him. For me, it's a damaged fight, but it will sell. The casuals will buy it. Personally, I wouldn't watch it. But if that was just an average, if he wasn't called Conor Benn, would they be scheduling fights?
Yeah.
Would they?
I don't think so. They won't, would they?
No, definitely not. And I personally, I think it's really bad for boxing that they're actually even just trying to ignore the fact that he failed those two tests. He did fail them. So let's get this sorted out before they even talk about scheduling a fight.
What do you reckon, Ken, about Call's involvement and all that, and then this Misfits and KSI stuff, but yet still involved with professional boxers? What do you reckon about all that? Isn't that breaking both rules?
It's a joke, like, does he? It all depends on who actually has the promoter's license.
Is he even a manager now for any fighters? Or
Yeah, yeah.
how's that all work?
You go back, you go back and you look at the shows that McKenzie was putting on at Channel 5 are really, really good. A lot of his fighters now are on Sky, or on the Sky platform. But compared to the two or three fights that Wasserman have put on, I think the Misfit boxing's really bad for boxing. I think it actually turns fans off from watching young pros coming through, trying to build a following, try to sell tickets. And I think it's these ready-made YouTube, social media stars bringing all this drama and chaos, ready-made entertainment. People are tuning in and watching it, where it's going to take away the fact that it's going to take a fighter time to build up, a momentum with a following and a style and selling tickets and improving as a pro, where these Misfits are just like ready-made, like celebrity types, and they're getting this massive platform to do it, where it's going to take a young pro years, if they even get to that level. And I think it's going to make it even harder for like, to be honest with you, they're selling out the O2. They're doing good numbers on the zone. So why would somebody want to buy tickets off a young fighter now when they can go and watch this ready-made crap entertainment, trash boxing? Likes of Talk Sport and all are following it, and I think it's really bad for boxing. I think it's terrible, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't think it's good.
Do you think the media are doing their bit with all this, or do you think they're just ignoring it?
I think they're promoting it. You look at all the platforms, all the YouTube channels. They're getting more. They're getting more of a following on them platforms than young pros coming through. Young boxers trying to sell tickets, getting a following, building up their social media.
It's becoming more about the characters around boxing now than the actual boxing
fighters. You get one of these YouTube stars, and you get an Olympic medalist. The Olympic medal doesn't mean anything. They'll take someone now who's got the social media following over somebody with an Olympic medal or an amateur pedigree. Having a good amateur pedigree now doesn't guarantee you success in boxing, where before it guaranteed you a signing on fee, it guaranteed you X amount of fights. Now it doesn't. Now you need to have a good social media following before anything, and I think that's really, really bad for boxing.
Yeah. Where do you see this Savannah Marshall Clarissa Shields rivalry ending? Do you see it ending in America at super middleweight, or in England at super middle, or do you see it not happening?
To be honest with you, I don't really see it happening. I don't see it happening now. I think Carissa Shields actually earned more money coming to Britain to fight Savannah than she's ever earned in America. I think she got the big hype. She got the big razzmatazz from the UK, where in America she's never really did that. So I think if she wants any more big fights and she wants to make money from boxing, she's going to need to come over to the UK, because the American market she hasn't had that purse before. She hasn't had that exposure over in America, where she came over here and she was she was the A side in that fight. She got a lot of exposure off Sky. They promoted the fight really, really well. It did really, really well numbers wise. But I think if she wants to make money and wants to get a big fight, she needs to come back over to the UK and Britain.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Uh, Charlie Edwards, what did you think? It's an interview I did with him.
Very good. He's a good lad.
Yeah.
He's done really well. He's
His
invested
skill
his
set.
money.
Oh, his
He's a
skill set. Jeez.
brilliant fighter. Brilliant fighter. I think he's
Done it
and he's
all.
stronger now. He's matured. I remember his first ever world title fight. I think it was on the Triple G Kell Brook undercard. Am I right or wrong in that?
Can't remember. My memory's gone.
Well, he had his first ever. He fought for a world title before he even fought for a domestic belt, and he's really come on. He's won a world title.
He won a world title very early in his career, didn't he? WBC, didn't he?
Won the WBC, and that guy he actually fought, a really good fighter. That guy actually fought Paddy Barnes and beat Paddy Barnes at Windsor Park. He was a massive look. I remember talking to Paddy the day before, and I remember at the weigh-in, and I remember seeing him on fight night walk into the ring, and I actually said to myself, "Flipping, this guy looks like a completely different fighter. He's hydrated. He looks 2 weight divisions and higher than and Paddy actually fought him for a WBC title within X amount of fights. It said a lot for Paddy. Christopher Rosales was what he was called. Really, really good fighter. And to be honest with you, Charlie beat him really easy. Charlie won probably 9 rounds in that fight. It was a great performance from Charlie Edwards. I would like to see him, get a couple of fights and challenge, hopefully for an world title. It's great to see a fighter actually has earned and invested their money. He's got a villa out in Portugal, which is brilliant. Which is brilliant for him, and it's really good to see. Really, it's really good to see a fighter. I think that fight 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9 fights in, he challenged for a world title, which is unheard of nowadays for a fighter challenging that early for a world title.
Yeah, that's good, that, isn't it?
Yeah, it's good to see you're getting a bit more exposure now and getting some access, and a great interview with Peter Fury, a great interview with Joe Savannah as well. That was really good. Natasha, it's really good for the channel. Russell, you're doing really, really well.
Yeah. Well, it's every now and then I'll just like to go through gears.
The channel's evolving. The channel's doing really well. You've got some great guests.
Yeah.
You've got Terry from Highfield Boxing. You've got Julian that has his thoughts. You've got Richard, who's really, really good. You've got good boxing people on the channel.
Gary and John are in the fold now. They're getting up on it, aren't they?
Yeah, well, Gary's back in the channel, which is good, and yeah, it's really, really good. It's really, really good for the channel, Russell. You built it really, really well.
Yeah, yeah, I have. I'm a genius.
Well, I wouldn't say that, like, but yeah, you've done well, Russell. You've
It
built the
started
channel
out
up
as a
for.
bit of a laugh, didn't it? And now it's got a little bit, a bit more serious on it. So
Well, we're boxing people. We're on talking about boxing. We don't really take ourselves that serious.
well, of
It's a, for me, it's a bit of a hobby coming on the channel and
course it
just
is,
talking
mate.
about boxing and enjoy it. Met some good people through the channel, which is great. And long may the channel continue to grow and evolve over the next couple of years.
Thank you very much, Kent. And we're out of time, mate. Well, listen, you take care.
And I'll see you soon, Russell. All right,
All right,
Russell.
you
Take
take
care.
care. Cheers, pal. Bye, Kent. Bye. And that was Kent from Northern Ireland, Belfast. Women love him. Men want to be him. Long distance runner Kent. He'd get on well with Sparkling him. And Mike Baldwin already likes him, aka Gary. But yeah, but anyway, listen, if anybody's out there and you're interested in making a few quid on your social media, all you got to do is share a link. If you get a bite and somebody goes out and views a property, you get 50 quid, whether it sells or not. But if it sells, you get your 50 quid and commission. It's easy money. Trust me, you're missing out on something. If you're interested, email me, porkycorner@mail.com. Right, that's it. We're out of time. Thank you to everybody for sharing the video. Only share it if you like Porky's Corner, though. All right. Thanks for sharing the video on your WhatsApp, on your social media, Twitter, Instagram, etc. All right. Everybody have a great Sunday. Peace out.